Hello, everybody. Welcome. For those are psychic investigators. So today it's been an intense day here. A lot's happening. And where do I even start? Let's do the protection because it's a big, very interesting information. I like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head. As I breathe in, I fill my lungs. As I breathe out our greater circle, I step into it. I step into it, I feel protected. I step into it, I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources that I create the good and all the good, and so it is. So today, lots of activity. Finally, I got my stepdad a passport because he had lost, he's elderly, so he had lost all his documents. It's interesting, no? So since I arrived, so it took a while. So I'm happy for that. And then my mom, she thought she had something, so went to the emergency room, but it was just like, it was nothing really. So all kinds of activities today. But anyway, I'm saying this because as a way to do an intro, because I can't quite believe I meant to do this video earlier, but all this stuff kept happening. And I can't believe I'm telling you guys. So let me just get right to it because I almost can't believe it. I have to explain to give you the background because if I say it like this, it's like, what? So I had seen something on Twitter. Let me actually share this with you. You know that I have seen, we've talked about Vance, of course, on and off, and I've seen that I had seen Peter Thiel being with the Hungary situation and the whole thing with how ridiculous JD Vance looks. He is starting to panic, and the Hungary situation has exposed a lot. And I can't, guys, again, situation is I'm sure you have experienced this in your personal lives as well. Things are intense, and so I almost like I can't believe how I can barely like breathe with the amount of information coming out. So, but this is so big, and I and I and I want to talk to you about this. So I had talked to Karina about this for a variety of reasons. I'd seen that JD Vance would leave, that he would that he would be kind of pushed out, right? I think I've said this before. And I had kind of told people this, that I thought that there would be a moment, especially for Peter Thiel, that he would be weakened when it's announced that JD Vance is not going to be the person who takes over for Trump, right? But what I'm seeing, guys, it's like I'm myself, I am shocked. So let me just maybe you're like, wait, Rosie, why don't you just say it? Okay, so let's see. This is from WhatsApp. So I was on Twitter. I'm sorry, yeah, Twitter this morning, and I saw this, and I'm like, wait, is it real? I can't believe I'm seeing this because that's. I was like, what? Because the first thing I saw was this thing here. It says Vance. If you see her, let's see if I can zoom in. No, I can't. Vance prepares for parachute exit from Trump admin. That's the first thing I read. I was like, what the hell? It's almost like this was it's sort of under the radar, right? This thing, because to me, it's huge. This thing that came out this morning. Okay. Now going back to this, the term parachute exit. Now, let me go back and show you a few things, and then I'm going to read. So what's really interesting about this is that they talk about, I'm going to show you the article, but just a summary that some of these advisors are leaving the government and they're working to work as lobbyists. And even that is a little strange. So let's get to the article because we do have to analyze what and by the way, the Daily Caller is a conservative website. I think it's associated with Ben Shapiro, I think, right? If I remember correctly. So the fact that this news is in the Daily Caller in itself is like almost like they're giving the heads up. right? So that's very big. So let's go right to the article on the Daily Caller. Now, obviously, I don't read the Daily Caller, but this, I find it super interesting because this is the source of this is the conservative media, right? Okay, so opinion. Vance team exits fuel speculation around 2028 plays. Now, like I said, I'm just going to read it. It's a really quick article. JD Vance loyalists are beginning to lay the ground for a 2028 presidential run without the help of the Trump world. Now, that in itself is really, really weird, right? When you think about it, because we know that what happened over the weekend when he went to Iran, it looked ridiculous. Rubio was in the like, what is it called? Is it a boxing match or something, some sort of sports event? And he looked like he was hammered. He was drunk, and it basically clearly JD Vance was set up to fail. And what's interesting here is that though we think that Trump is not going to last much longer in terms of his government, right? His admin, they're talking about a presidential run without the help of Trump world. Now that's huge in itself because it says that he knows he doesn't have the support of Trump world. I mean, he is a serious ass kisser. If they're putting it out, it says, I don't have the support of Trump, right? So that in itself is it's like something huge right here, right? It's like signaling to whoever's reading it that Vance does not have the support from Trump world at all. Okay, the next. 3 top Vance aides have all recently taken jobs at powerful lobbying firms in Washington, D.C., Politico reported Monday. Sean Cooksey, the vice president's former chief legal and policy advisor, the camp for BGR Group, Jim Durrett, a former deputy of staff for operations, now at Invariant, Rezam Hassanein, former special advisor on the Middle East, has left Vance's office for continental strategy. So okay, I have to tell you this because they compare this. Of course, they hate Kamala, right? But they compare it to Kamala, and this is where it gets even weirder, right? Here it is. Blah blah blah. Okay. Vance aides may be going to K Street because the money is good, or because they want to get out now before it's too late and their careers are damaged. But it also keeps them within arm's reach when Vance were to launch his presidential campaign. Famously, aides to Vice President Kamala Harris ditched her in the middle of her term because they thought she was a woman. Again, this is a conservative website. They hate Kamala. Political source said that in Vance's case, it's the opposite dynamic. Unlike Kamala Harris's team, staff leaving Vance's office have only positive things to say. They're staying close to the White House and want the administration to succeed. Now, if you think about it, now let's go to what happened with Kamala, right? Kamala, the teams, I don't keep track of the haters really, but remember how people started, and there was all these rumors when she was running, like it was very close to her running for office, right? For president. So it only pretty much happened, I think, when she had the support to become VP. It's not something that she did 2.5 years. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you here, what I find very interesting and suspicious is that they're not leaving in expectation that she, it's not connected to approval. It's actually the opposite. She does not have the approval of the current president. I mean, JD Vance does not have the approval of Trump world, unlike Kamala, right? At the time. So does it make sense? It's like, it's not true. In other words, I'm calling it BS. I don't think it's true at all that they are preparing for some kind of presidential thing. I think, and this is what I think is interesting. The top aides are leaving because they know there's no future for him. And I think the way that this article is the way that they wrote it, that other headline was very telling. They know that there's no more future for him, I think. Okay. And therefore, it's like, it's almost as if the first people leave because they know he's leaving. So they're leaving ahead of time so they don't get burned. Right. So this is the thing that I wanted to share with you, that it's not the 2028 plan. I really genuinely think, and I actually looked at it earlier, that Peter Thiel is freaking out. He sees how he's now associated. He's the main back. I mean, he's the main backer of JD Vance, and JD Vance is extremely unpopular, and he looks like a fool. I mean, this is, I think, objectively speaking, right? He has no political instincts. He has zero charisma, and he is just. It's like now the memes of him following, right? Wherever he is, it's it's a mess. It's not going to work. So really, it, to me, it's a sign that JD Vance, what they really are saying here is that JD Vance is about to leave the Trump administration. That's what I think. Okay, that doesn't make sense. It's like, it's really huge, I feel, because these types of articles, even if it's in a, I think especially if it's in a conservative, if it comes to him, I don't think this is a propaganda thing, right? I think if it had been a lie, or if it's like, no, that's not at all, they would have said, no, absolutely not, right? But they're saying that they already are creating an image, like it's almost like it's a dialectical device, but it's really like they're creating this image that of JD Vance being away from the government, right? He's no longer, like, this concept is new, right? It's a change. And I saw, so I mean, I want to confirm with you here. I saw that Peter Thiel is so angry, and not even just angry, but really freaked out. And how before he had some respect, I think, before he came out as being this like horrific fascist, who is intent on destroying the world, basically, right? So like, it just feels that it's not, it doesn't make sense. It's changed. And I feel like he could very well resign, because if Peter Thiel wants to, I think what Peter Thiel wants now is to save face. There's no, he still thinks that it's like, I see him like, try, no, it's the worst has happened. And he didn't realize, didn't think this was going to happen, because Peter Thiel thinks that everybody's so stupid. But their unpopularity is staggering, right? And the Hungary thing is going to expose a lot of his connections to Russia. This is undeniable. And this is a disaster for Peter Thiel. Therefore, he wants JD Vance to go away, right? To kind of become quiet, let's say, so that he can kind of exit more smoothly from this whole thing. So let's see. Let's ask here. So is this why? Let's ask like this: Why is the Daily Caller publishing that headline? What's going on? Let's see. They're like, stop. They're like, okay, stop. Yeah, that's right. I see. Interesting. Wow. Oh, okay. So I see that this article is meant to stop him. If they're already putting it, they're kind of telling him, JD Vance, that he has to go. Because it's saying, once you put out these articles, the press is going to start smelling and start asking questions. Why? What's going on? What's up? And then, okay, so that's part one. And then part two. That's right. Wow. I see this. It's like a really graphic image, honestly. I see this image of Peter Thiel. You've seen these images of people injecting themselves with heroin. They put a rubber thing around it. They tie their arm. And he'd stein his arm with a, I've never seen it in person, but I've seen the movies, right? Like they're doing this to like inject. He's like, no, he's like injecting himself with things, because it's like he can't handle. He's insane. That guy is crazy, right? He's insane. And it's interesting. I'm remembering reading that the age man from Germany, World War II, also was an addict. He used a lot of stimulants, I think it was. So it's interesting that he's like insane, literally. And I see that like it's saying, no, get out. Okay, so and then the Daily Caller is aligned with Thiel here in the sense that they want to start getting the message out that does it make sense? Start to plant the seeds for something that is incoming. And I see that Peter Thiel also got the message, right? No, nobody wants JD Vance anymore, and they want to discard him. They're acting like it. They're humiliating him. And Peter Thiel does not want to be here because I see Peter Thiel sees JD Vance as an extension of himself, right? He's his object. He's and the guys. It's saying that what got him is the memes. He cannot take it because this whole the right, especially the tech right, is really invested in a lot of these a concept called memetic warfare. It's this idea that they did a lot. Remember in Hillary's election, they would create constant memes and attack, and people were sort of shocked at how the stuff they would come up with. And they realize now with especially the advance, the memes, the couch meme, it's like it can't be overcome. They know it from experience because they've dealt with this before when they were winning, quote unquote, right? But now they're on the losing end of it, on the butt of jokes. And saying they have to IPO, and I see Peter who wants to protect his power. So this is happening. Now let's see. And my question now is that no, it's saying they're trying to plan a narrative that JD Vance is like leaving for the right reasons, and no, it's not that he was pushed out, he's just thinking of the future and blah blah blah. But my question is, does JD Vance know that he's on his way out? Like, or is it something that's coming from Trump, from Peter Thiel, or where? I see he has a watch. Looking at a watch. It's time. Okay, wow. Guys, I remember so many times doing visions about him in the past, and he would be like, I'm so close, I'm so close, I'm so close, and then nothing, right? Nothing. And it's saying that he's starting to realize that the time has passed. Almost like Trump should be removed by now, but he's not. And I'm supposed to be the next. I'm supposed to be the next. And with this trip to the Middle East, what he realized is that it's never going to happen. Saying he was told. And I see that, wow, whoa. It's saying that Jared told him to his face that, oh, it's so nice of you to want things. Something to the effect that he understood the message. And I see that Jared called Peter Thiel and told him too that he's not staying. Wow, damn. Oh, because, okay, interesting. So, wow. Woo. So, okay. We know that this is not a controversial, that Russia and Iran have a very strong connection going back decades. And that Peter Thiel also, but JD Vance is very aligned with Russia, 100%, really. And so is Iran, right? So he's been kind of acting in whichever way he thinks that, right, like Russia is his goal, right? Oh, there's okay, I gotta tell you a story about there's a tiny little spider, and I think it's a little spider. It's interesting. I think it's a sign for something else, but it's funny because I saw, okay, I really got, how there was like a fly sometimes, and now it's this tiny spider. I keep seeing it, and I feel like it's a message from spirit that yes, anyway. Going back here. So what I see is that Jared tells him that he's not going, it's not happening because Jared, it's like this, it's like a showdown between Israel and Russia in the sense that Russia does not want what Trump is doing in Iran. And so Jared kind of deliberately, set him up to fail so that the Russia thing here's a little tiny thing, so that that it would never happen what they want because Jared is obsessed with doing what Bibi wants, which is to destroy Iran, quote unquote, completely, right? So it's saying Jared is to blame. What damn? So Jared is the one. Wow. So he's controlling. Interesting. Wow. Because he's standing in anybody who says something about Bibi, right? Because as you guys know, Bibi and his family go way back even when he was a child. it's like he goes after them. So he saying Jared architected JD Vance's downfall. But I get that it's interesting that Peter Thiel, it doesn't even, like, he's done with JD Vance. Now it's like, damn it, because he thought he was so clever. Oh, I got this guy, all this power, blah, blah, blah. People are going to respect me. I'm going to get this and that. But it's like what I think it was Michelle Obama who said, power doesn't change a person, it exposes who they are. Something to that. She said something to that effect. And it's exactly that. It magnifies the garbage that he is, right? He's so dumb. He has zero political instincts. He has terrible charisma. So, and he's a butt of jokes. Everybody makes fun of him, including his own conservative people. So that's that. And I see that that's right. There's nothing, nowhere, no place for him to go. They've told him this. And because he's so he's so submissive, and he hasn't really gotten anything out of, like, he got things because of other people, not because of his own charisma. He's not like a young Obama or Bill Clinton or I don't know what else, but you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, wow, this charismatic person. No, no. So, okay. So tell me more. That's right. It's saying that he's been told it's over. And I see that Peter Thiel's like, okay, this is the exit ramp for you. And they're negotiating wow, that's it. It's saying there's not that much more time left. Wow, that's right. They're pushed. That's right. It's saying it's better for him to resign because it saved the humiliation. So I have another question. Does JD Vance want? Okay, 1 second. No, okay. The question here is: what does JD Vance know about Trump? Does he think? Because that's also something else to inquire. Does he know that Trump is on his way out, or what? No, it's saying that he was due to leave, but again, I feel like he feels like he was suddenly you snatched from him that he was going to take over, and I see that they want Marco Rubio to take over now. That's right. Wow. So, what does that? No, I see that again. This is a disaster for Peter Thiel and Elon Musk too. I think they want to get rid. They really hate JD Vance. Period. And that Peter Thiel's like, it's about. It's not that he's cutting him off. He's still it was like, oh, I'll give you a payout, as I said, just make sure you leave because it's not the right time. It's not the right time, JD. It's not the right time anymore. Okay. Wow. So it says a minute. They're just working out the details. And again, it's like, because again, Peter Thiel sees him as an employee, as like somebody who represents me, and he makes me look ridiculous. So I need to get him out. And things are looking really bad. That's what Peter Thiel thinks for him. Like he's not worried about, not thinking about Trump at all. He's thinking about how to save his own skin. And to how to prevent Palantir, because again, the problem for Peter Thiel is involved in all these U.S. defense companies and Palantir. And he realizes, he knows that when the information comes out about Hungary, by the way, Hungary's relationship with, I think Hungary really is the main gateway of Russian money into the US politics. Okay. So he's very involved in this and money laundering and all that. So this is why. Okay. So yeah, it's saying that Thiel's been cut off, and it's saying there, Rosie, that's why it's being telegraphed in a conservative newspaper first. Right. And it's saying this happened a little while, but it doesn't make sense. It's all coming together. I think the news of all these people leaving doesn't make sense. Like people that are very close to him leaving for jobs where there's a future, right? Because there's no more future with JD Vance. JD Vance is done. And so it's saying it was choreographed to first go to the conservative outlets because that's who they have to communicate to, because that's their audience. So, interesting. So, all right. So this is guys. I know maybe it was a lot to process, but I wanted to share that with you. All right. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Okay. Bye.